to go through my journal and the system that I've been using and basically tell you the pros and cons of each section of my system. This first section is my mood and mental health tracker. By the way, I don't have anything hidden here. I've been using this to not transfer the colors. So you can see here, because I use color pencils, they transfer. I just put it here when I'm coloring this side so it doesn't transfer. Anyway, that's why this is here. Okay, let's talk about the pros and cons about this part of my system. Something I like about this is how it looks. It looks nice. I like the colors. I like the different colors. I like the color gradient. I like how I have 4 levels of intensity. I have already talked about this before, but I'll just explain quickly again. Very light is level 1. A little darker, level 2, dark, level 3, very dark, level 4. And it goes from low to extreme. The darker the color gets, the more extreme is the feeling that I have, like anxiety, irritability, social fatigue, insomnia, and I really like that. And I also like how it looks visually. However, I wish I could see the information, the data across the entire spread at once, instead of looking at each month at a time because of the different colors. For a quick visual assessment of the data. Also, I wanted every month to be a different color, and it was a big pain in the ass to choose the color, choose the shades within the color, and think if it would be coherent in the spread. Every time that I thought about coming back here to feeling things, I always thought, oh, but I need to choose a color and I need to choose the shade. It really just motivated me to do this. It was just a pain to choose the colors sometimes, especially because I didn't want to repeat the colors, and I don't have enough supplies for that to make it easy. I think if you do, maybe you could enjoy this a lot more than I did. I guess a solution to that would be choose 4 colors, and 4 colors that I know I have enough shades of, and just repeat them throughout the year. That would have solved my problem, but I didn't think about this before. And by the time that I was feeling like that, it didn't feel, it just felt like I couldn't give up anymore. So this is something that I want to change for next year. Make it easier for me to keep up with, and also make it look more like a unit. So when I look at the page, I can see the data more easily instead of having to focus on each month separately. But I'm glad that I tried this. I'm glad that I tried this rainbow, not really rainbow, but like colorful spread, because I would have wanted to, and I would always be thinking, what if? So I'm glad I did it, but when it was happening, it was a pain in the ass. Yesterday, I had to finish completing this. I had to finish December, November, half of October, mood for June, mood for May, some of the mood for February. So I had a lot of things that I had to come back, and the main reason why I could fight with myself to finish this was because I wanted to finish this video and post it. I really wanted to be more consistent on YouTube. So I was like, I need to do it for them. And I think if I didn't have something bigger than myself making me do it, I don't know if I would have been able to really finish this or do it as quickly as I did, which wasn't quickly, but it would take even longer. And that's not something that can happen, you know. I need to learn to do things for myself instead of for something bigger than myself. I should be reason enough to do things. That's something I need to learn. Anyway, that's besides the point. And as I've mentioned, I still have some blank spaces. Here's okay, this is complete, but here I know I'm missing some information. I'm missing some here. I'm missing here, I think. Here. Missing. This is not complete because today is the 24th. Something that I should mention is the only reason why I could keep track of this is because I keep it on my phone. And that's something I've learned. You need to find a way to keep track of this. This is not something that you can come back 20 days later like I did in December and expect to remember. I can't remember. And when that happens, I need to go back to my journal and through my planner and through my text messages to try to figure out how I was feeling. And I already have an app that I use for that. But even then, sometimes like in December, for 20 days, I didn't even open the app. So the bad thing about this is that you need to keep track of the information, and coming back to this page, to this tracker every day can be very draining because it's something that you need to do every day. And maybe it could work like if you had a morning routine, a night routine, you make it part of your ritual. And maybe that's something that I will try to do, but it's not something I'm good at. I've been planning and journaling and trying to keep track of trackers for so long, for so many years, and I'm so bad at that. It's already time for me to realize that I'm not good at keeping trackers. I'm not good at keeping track of things. So I do not trust myself to have a ritual where I come here every day and keep track of the things that I need to keep track of. I need to have this information somewhere else so I can come here later on and track the thing. And that's what I've been doing. If I didn't keep track on my phone, on my planner, or whatever, especially on my phone with the app that I use, this wouldn't be possible. And the only reason it is possible is because I have a system going on beyond like my journal tracker thing. So if you're thinking of doing something like this, please keep that in mind. I think that's all I wanted to say. The next section is the monthly. I'm using this as a way to memory keep. And from March is when it really started shaping to something that I was happy with. It's quite different from what I have here. Here I have a lot of writing, a lot of words that I need to really focus and read to know what was happening. And here I can just very quickly see. I have stickers, drawings, different calligraphy showing me the information. I'm very new to memory keeping. I've only started memory keeping this year. I've been journaling for years now, but my journaling is just writing and reflecting and talking about feelings and thinking about things that happened, but not really in a memory keeping way. And I felt like I was missing this aspect, the memory keeping aspect, and that's why I really wanted to start doing it. But I feel like I still haven't found what works for me. For a few months I could keep up with it, but then I didn't. And by September I didn't do anything. At times I thought about coming back, but because I skipped so many days, months, felt like I needed to have the information there so I could continue, which I see that is my, like, it's a personal problem, it's not a system problem. Let me mention something good about this before I continue with the bad things. You have a small square, not a lot of space, which makes it less overwhelming. If you don't think about the entire month, it's a lot easier than trying to keep one entire page in my journal as a memory, like a day. here I don't write daily, I don't journal daily, but I try to memory keep daily, and I have a small section for that. It's like a small commitment, it's small daily commitment instead of an entire page, and that's doable. That's in theory, that's doable, that's very doable. But there are a few problems with that. The first problem is me. Maybe it's because it's still something very new to me. I wasn't doing it every day. I wasn't doing one day at a time. I was doing 1 week at a time. So I had a lot more to think about. It felt like doing 1 week at a time or 2 weeks at a time worked better, was because I wanted to add stuff. I didn't know if I would have space. For example, here, this tiger, for example, it's taking 2 weeks. So I had to wait till I finished this, at least this 3 first days of the next week, to see if I could really stick the tiger here, because I didn't know how much I would write this other 2 days. And when I also had a lot more to write, I had to wait to see if I didn't have anything major to write about in the day. Things were spilling in. Next thing is just the journaling pages. Just a lot of writing, not interesting looking. I started pasting pictures for the month, which was fun, like this. Otherwise, I just have writing. So it's nice to break the writing, to have something to look at instead of just words that I need to read to understand what happened. Also, my journaling started being a little more, it has more, I started including things that I don't usually include in my journal, like this. I started like doing some drawing for some reason, and different, like I just used the page to think, basically. I didn't try to make a list, which is usually what I do, and you can still that's still a list, right? It's still some kind of list, but it's not so structured. Having a list of books on this topic that I wanted to read, this would be a separate notebook usually. Here I have some drawings, and it's not pretty, but I'm just using the page. And my day here, I was remembering it having basically bullet points. Here another example was what I call feeling the doom of existence, and I was trying to get over that. You can see that I just have like ideas in different places. It's not one concisive thing, and my journal is usually for writing, and not ideas in random places. Here again, I was thinking about my life foundations, like how I could get over this. Here I was thinking about how to use my planners for next year, my goals for next year. Here I have some poems for Christmas cards for my family. Just a lot more than just feelings and thoughts and reflections about life. It's actually using my journal as part of my life instead of just writing about my life. If that makes sense. The last thing that I started doing was I bought some stickers and stuff from some artists, and I just added here the extra stuff they sent me as, you know, memory, and I just added to the last pages, the pages that come with like information at the end of the Hobonichi. I still have more things that I want to add here, but I'm still not very good at like keeping things here. That's something that I would like to get better at, so I can keep this going. I'm so tired of talking. So those are the things that I want to keep in mind for next year when I'm building my journaling system. Not really build a new system, just improve what I already have in place. In the future, I will make a video talking about my improved system And again, I'm so sorry for not being consistent on YouTube. Deeply sorry for just leaving out of nowhere every now and then. I really want to improve that, and I am already working on another video at the same time as I'm working on this one, which is my Hobonichi haul. That will be the next video. Oh, I really want to be part of this community. I'm not very good at expressing feelings, but I want to share my ideas and see other people's ideas and, you know, just talk about it because I like it. All right, that's it. I'm so tired of talking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you by saying that. I'm just not very good at talking a lot. All right. Do the YouTube thing if you want. And I'll see you in a few days.